Good evening to you all, except Morris Ponk. Reading in the paper today, a 3-year-old Turkish girl who weighs over 6 stones. It will be prophesied that she'll grow into the world's largest man, woman and child. I don't think she can compare with England's own Miss Stanford of Chipping Sodbury, who stood 7'3" at the age of 5, and who at the age of 8 was declared a danger to shipping. It's said that flies died of old age while crossing her belly. At 14, she used to stand about in a reverie until the council had a pull-down and a compulsory building erected on the site. At 15, she could push over a cow, and when she sneezed, it smashed windows in Ashford, Sevenoaks and Dungeness. The coming-out ball had to be held in a 100-acre field. Suitors thronged around her, more than 90 at a time dancing the waltz with her. Several were found dead in the folds of her gown when the dance was over. Her name was Barbara Elsie Margaret Penelope, but her friends called her Barbara Elsie Margaret Penelope. Now, here's a note for music lovers. Medical advice from our own Dr. Rhubarb. If you've got flatulence, burning shins, athlete's foot, athlete's teeth, high groins, scorflufus, flooding, the scrags and double rupture, don't despair. So has Dr. Rhubarb.
Doctor, 4 times in 12 hours, my brother, who is an accountant, has got his nose caught between the pedals of our pianoforte. Is there an easy and painless way to withdraw it?
Ask me rather how your brother, who is an accountant, ever got into such a dilemma. Tell him that if he works the pedals with his feet, it's unlikely to happen again. How on earth did he get his nose caught between the piano... No, on second thoughts, don't tell me. I'd rather not know.
Doctor, my niece has got rather a long nose and a slight squint. And the other day she got her nose like stuck to a flypaper. Of course, my brother, he hit her and he swatted her with a cricket bat. Now, we're afraid that my niece may brood over this incident and get like inferiority complex. What can we do?
Well, if you all go around sticking your nose to flypapers and swatting each other gaily with cricket bats, she may think it's a normal mishap and you can all laugh it off together. Such a family as you describe should be able to do with a good laugh. Now, if you'll excuse me, I want to deal with my correspondence. Heartsick. You say that his old Etonian tie and guard's braces led you to assume that he was a gentleman. But surely suspicion must have reared its hideous head when he twanged the elastic of his made-up bow tie in front of your mother. Millie. If he really was a colonel in the household cavalry, he would not have had Hilda tattooed across the base of his spine. And if you were a lady, you would not have seen it. And finally, Luella. My word, you are in a fix.
Hello there. Are your nostrils exhausted? In these days of excitement and anxiety, we tend to breathe more frequently, which imposes an additional strain on the nostrils, the second most important breath duct. The man with weary nostrils soon becomes unfit. How can this be counteracted? Only by smearing the nostrils with Snibbo, the innocuous reagent vouched for by 32,984 physicians and surgeons, and an unfrocked upholsterer.
Tom, why don't nobody ever dance with Joan?
Oh, Joan,
She's awfully pretty, Tom.
Yeah, I know, but, well, frankly, her nostrils are weary.
But Tom, hasn't anybody told her about Snibbo?
By Jove, that's an idea. 32,984 physicians and surgeons swear by it. I'll go and tell her at once.
Of course I'll marry you, Tom, dear.
Thanks to Snibbo.
Use Snibbo.
troubled reader writes, recently I took a sea voyage in the hope of enjoying one of those shipboard romances one reads about. I inquired of my steward when might it be my turn to dine at Captain's table. He laughed openly, and from then on I was ostracized all the way back to Dover. Signed, Cynthia Pankhurst, Myths. Madam, dining at Captain's table is not the usual practice on the cross-channel car ferry. And now for Dr. Strabismus, whom God preserve, of Utrecht. Good evening. Tonight I will lecture on my new invention to bring peace to this naughty world. It is a liquid that is tasteless, colorless, odorless, and non-fatty. When sprayed from a great height, it rots the braces. I have called it instant bracer rot. After it has been sprayed, the battlefield rings to the sound of dropping trousers. Any army thus attacked becomes powerless to advance. The enemy on both sides soon becomes disheartened at having to fight with the trousers down, and of course the flapping shirt tails are giving them a sense of racial inferiority. Racial acts regardless of rank. Let us demonstrate. 1929, World War II, standing room only. Dawn on the battlefield.
Right, simmer down, chaps. Now, you all join the army to fight. I know you're wearing for crack at the Bosch, or the Reds, or the Chimps, or whoever it is we're fighting at the moment. So synchronize your watches, chaps. Now let's knock 'em for 6, eh? I know you can do it.
Halt! Stop! Simple but effective. Not only will bracer rot help to abolish falls, but it will also stimulate the bracers industry.
Blasted foreigners.
Shut up! Good newspaper headlines are hard to find. Editors have nightmares trying to make things out of nothing. You listen to this one. Wife discovers tear in vicar's trouser pocket. I am innocent, he tells police. Here now are the winning entries in our Write a World-Shaking Headline Contest. The winner, Marie Celeste arrives at Liverpool. Archduke Ferdinand of Austria still alive. World War I a mistake. Another thing, I wonder, for example, if we are supposed to take literally the things we read about men from the ends of the earth rubbing shoulders at Lords. Is it true?
Why, if it isn't old Bongy.
Crabbers.
How brown you look. Bronzo?
No, Borneo.
Excuse my rubbing shoulders with you, but we haven't met for 10 years.
What have you been doing?
I'm a native judge in Poo-Poo Land. It's strange to come back to the old faces. We ought to exchange memories.
Yes, I suppose we should. It's wonderful the way we meet up like this at Lord's. We men from the ends of the earth.
One must. It's done. Self-respect, noblesse oblige, the old flag.
Playing the game, what?
Yet I can almost smell the Mustang. God, those open skies.
England doesn't change there. Same old houses, same old streets.
Well hit, sir!
You going back to your job when the match is over?
Yes, catching night plane. Then 10 more years in the wilds.
Same goes for me. But we are the salt of the earth, aren't we?
Oh, of course, old man. Lonely outposts of empire.
Jolly good show. Well, see you again in another 10 years, I suppose.
Oh, we better wait till the end of the over.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
Wait till they hear it was a coloured batsman. The recent readings from the list of Huntingdonshire cabmen were so popular that some of the names have been set to music by Arnold Thaxted. Last night at the Wigmore Hall, they were sung for the first time in public by Madame Orlona Travella. You all know Mr. Justice Cockle-Carrot of the famed red-bearded dwarfs cases. Well, his home life is as peculiar in its way as his working life. His wife, to whom he always refers to as Mrs. Justice Cockle-Carrot, is a retiring and very silent woman. That or he's deaf. Year in and year out, she sits impassively, not uttering a word. But recently, the slumbering volcano erupted and threw up some glittering, witty, cut, parry and thrust conversations.
Wivins fell down a manhole last Christmas Eve.
Yes, my dear? Thank you, my love. What Wivins were you speaking of?
E.D. Wivins.
I see. Did you know him, my dear?
No.
Many times in the next few days, Cockle-Carrot endeavoured to capture the first fine, careless rapture of that conversation.
This Wivins you were speaking of, my dear. Wivins was his name, was it? Wivins. Wivins. Talking of manhole covers, my dear. Damnation, who is this man Wivins?
Every time you swear, it goes through me like an assegai.
As time passed, Cockle-Carrot began to forget his suspicions, and the customary silence fell over the house.
Wivins fell down a manhole again yesterday.
Did he?
Yes.
This Wivins, this E.D. Wivins, is he a great friend of yours?
He's adorable. You should see him lap up his milk.
What is this Wivins?
He's a cat, my dear. The Marshman's cat.
But cats don't have initials.
This one does.
Three days passed.
Well, has E.D. Wibbins fallen down the manhole again?
Later that day.
Yes! They ought to keep it covered. They do. Then how does the accident happen? Does Wibbins often fall down the manhole? He tries to. He does it on purpose, then.
Why else would a cat fall down a manhole?
Did Wibbins live up the manhole himself, or did he get a friend to help him? Write your solution on a cat and send it to Morris Ponk. A nasty rumour is going around Marine House. His name is E.P. Boggis. It concerns ace landlady Mrs. Gladys Teabag McGurgle. He says her frequent appearances in this column are thinly disguised adverts for her boarding house. She takes time off from adding water to the milk to reply to her critics. Straining at the lease is Mervyn Glue.
Mrs. McGurgle, are the criticisms justified?
Utter rubbish. The late McGurgle so detested even well-merited fame that on one occasion, having taken second prize at the local horticultural show for his giant turnip, he refused to let his photograph be published, saying that he did not wish to compete with film stars for public applause. Would such a man's widow be likely to indulge in vulgar advertisement?
The gauntlet has been flung down. Dare you pick it up, E.P. Boggis?
I feel that Mrs. McGurgle is laying a smokescreen behind a red herring, using the late Mr. McGurgle as an argument. I can't help but feel that Mrs. McGurgle is idealizing her late consort, who's a very ordinary man who cracked his knuckles when he talked. A habit that set my teeth on edge. Yours, E.P. Boggis.
Battle is joined.
Mrs. McGurgle.
The cracking of the late McGurgle knuckles, to which the so-called Mr. Boggis refers, was merely a nervous habit. A nervous habit Mr. Glue contracted during the wartime when he served as a commissionaire outside the Odeon. Furthermore, McGurgle only cracked his knuckles when he wished to emphasize a point. And Mr. Boggis is no gentleman if he would recall to a bereaved lady the personal frailties of her late spouse.
Advantage, Mrs. McGurgle. Now, G.G. Spillman, a retired apprentice, enters the lists.
Is the late Mr. McGurgle in question the same man that got my brother Alfred to join the Lamplight League of Sunday Silence? I seem to remember the cracking knuckles. If it was he, I never knew a man to talk so much about silence. Jabber, jabber, jabber.
Has Mr. Spillman nothing better to do than ride roughshod over the memories of a saint person, viz. Alphonsus McGurgle.
Saintly. He may be saintly now he's snuffed it. When he was alive, Mrs. McGurgle used to belt him stupid with a frying pan.
It's a lie. It was a rolling pin. And furthermore, I never failed to boil it afterwards.
There we must leave this hard-hitting discussion. This has been Mervyn Glue, reporting in depth.
The bottom of a glue factory by the sound of it. Holiday page. Why not let your travel agent fly you abroad? Failing that, take a plane. You can enjoy a wonderful fortnight in the historic town of Berserk. There's always something going on in Berserk. Last week, one of its citizens made headlines. Berserk man sets fire to sleeping grandmother. So, for 2 weeks of sun-kissed violet, try Berserk. And now, colourful, romantic Berserk poet Roland Milk reads his own bovine pastoral.
Lovely big cow by the edge of the wood, I'll give you an apple if you are good. I want to be kind before the chance goes, for Aunt Sarah told me, and she always knows, that somebody told her, I hope he was wrong, you'll be put in a bottle before very long. So, lovely big cow, whose hide is all mottled, do eat up your apple before you get bottled.
A politician was standing for a vacant marginal seat. His platform, abolishing taxes and halving the price of meat. But why did the voters scorn him? For his vote was the lowest yet. The reason's quite clear. He's not wearing a thorough-grip garteret.
For better sock government, you'll find no opposition to Threadgold's. The garteret you can trust.
Threadgold's Thorough-Grip, Threadgold's Thorough-Grip, Threadgold's Thorough-Grip, garteret.
Tonight, a new adventure serial. It tells of a Tibetan enchantress, Dingy Pools, who is really a secret bulk buying agent for MI1. And a self-confessed female to boot. The hero is an insipid explorer, Colonel Egham, who seeks the fabulous sapphire girdle. It tells of his journey to a land where no human eye has ever set foot. Episode 1, In the Teeth of a Blizzard.
Hitchikoo, Kamashing Foo, Bang Ha. Mipsawiki.
Malaki, I'm gonna go.
What are you talking about?
I haven't the faintest idea. What were you saying, Mungo?
Mipsawiki.
Which means?
In 5 minutes, we on time and a half.
Oh.
But here is what you have come 10,000 miles to Tibet to find. The
Get
great
on.
palace of our queen, Dinjapu. Dinjapu!
What is that fascinating cry of Te-Ah?
That is our great queen saying to us, Tia!
Welcome to Tibet.
You're welcome to it too, my dear.
I have been expecting you, Colonel Egham.
You know my name?
All Tibet knows of your great doings.
What?
Was it not the great Egham who was the first to scale Mount Kruklaha? Was it not the famous Egham who was the first man to discover the incredible lost world of Shangri-La?
No, that was my cousin, Gladys Egham.
Oh. Well, since you are here, perhaps you would care for some brick tea.
Yes, it's thirsty work, traveling 5,000 miles to find the sapphire girdle.
Not the sapphire girdle That is the talk of all the bazaars from Kathmandu to Oldham.
The same. The same. 6,000 miles across crocodile-infested rivers, across ice-driven poles, through lion-infested forests. Gold is green.
Gold is green.
Yes, I've got a very bad sense of direction. But I've got plenty of grit. I've got 2 sacks of it outside.
Perhaps you would care for some refreshment.
What is it? Better still, what was it?
This one is salted yak's foot in rancid butter. This is raw barley steeped in rancid butter. Rancid cheese and rice and rancid butter. Brick tea. Yak's ear in rancid butter and just plain rancid butter. What you English call high tea.
Yes.
You're not hungry, Colonel?
No. I just remembered I've left my Sherpas running.
Oh.
Mugliata.
Perhaps my humble spread does not please you.
It's not that. It's just that I have a touch of the Madras gunge.
Oh. Yes, well, the food is a little bit samey, that's true. But tell me, Colonel, what is your pleasure?
You'll find it on page 69 of Lady Chatterley's Lover. You haven't got an old potting shed handy, have you?
The Madras grunge.
But I digress.
I told you so.
I came here to ask your assistance, my dear, in finding the sapphire girdle.
Perhaps I can help. Is this what you seek?
It looks remarkably like it, my dear.
You come any nearer and I'll give you such a crack on the massage you'll wonder what hit you.
Oh! I wonder what hit me. I must take a more subtle approach. I'll give you 30 bob for it.
Father! Sapphire girdle that once adorned the Queen of Sheba. It is priceless.
I can see she's no fool. 2 quid, then.
No, Colonel Egum, but Egum.
Yes?
Egum, I am a woman with a woman's dreams,
Of course.
a woman's hopes,
Yes.
a woman's needs.
Oh.
Take me away from all this.
Of course I will, my dear.
Take me away. Life is so dull here.
Yes, it is, my dear.
I cannot, how would you say?
What?
Express myself.
Express myself, that's how I say it. If anybody wants me, I'll beat on the back.
Take me to Venice, to Capri, to Blackpool.
Would you bring the sapphire girdle with you?
Do you only love me for my girdle?
Fly me and see, dingy poos. Marry me and all the bells in Tibet will go ting at our wedding.
But I am a humble Tibetan princess.
Yes.
Surely I'm not fit to be the wife of an English public schoolman.
Of course not, but marry me just the same. Marry me. Me mine.
All right. And yet I feel it is not me, but the sapphire girdle that you want. No!
Look here. We can't go on meeting like this. Marry me and let me go.
Do you want to go?
Yes, but I'll take you with me back to the old country.
Which old country?
Any old country.
Stop! If you take 1 foot outside the Valley of Youth, you will turn immediately into a 1,000-year-old man, etc.
Oriental rubbish! Farewell!
I told him so.
By Jove, that was pretty, wasn't it?
Rather in the same way as rigor mortis. Still, tune in next week for episode 12 of Good.
Episode 12.
Yes, the episodes are drawn out of a hat. 12 was the lucky number this week. Next week it might be your turn.
But how do we understand what's going on?
Who said you're supposed to understand what's going on? Get out! And did you know that human tissue can be grafted onto healthy ferrets?
Shut up!
Silence when you say shut up to me! Time for 8:30. So good night to you all. Except Morris Ponk.